So here's the crew of croppers that I have amassed for this test, and as you'll have seen through the course of my videos over the last few months, I've been kind of putting them through their paces, and it wouldn't have been right to not include the CK ones. So they're the latest addition. I do have these in varying sizes as well, but these are the ones I've got out on the desk just to give a bit of variation. And I'm going to run through them all one at a time, say some of the things I like and I don't like, and put them in order of my preference. And it is just my preference, my opinion. I'm not saying that that's the right order for them. Everyone will see it a bit different. I'm sure we all have our own personal tastes and the way we use our tools at the end of the day. But this is just my little review of them. I'll show the prices of them as well, where I got them from, and yeah, see what provides value to you. But yeah, let's jump to it. First up, we've got this little set from Katsu, and I've shown these before on another video already. These are the budget set from Amazon. So these were 10 quid, I think, for the pair. And again, I'll pop that in the little pop-up somewhere around this section of the video to show you where I got it from and how much it was. They can be bought individually as well, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with these. They've stayed sharp. They do a good job of cutting and cropping cable at the end of the day. You can strip with them as well. So my preference is always for the smaller 160 ones. Just what I like to use. Obviously, if you're on some of the bigger size conductors, then you need the 220s anyway, but yeah, when I'm doing little bits and pieces around a consumer unit or distribution board, I always have the smaller ones. Just what I like to work with. Absolutely nothing wrong with them. For a budget set, they've lasted, they've stayed sharp. Again, you've got to not abuse these things. If you start trying to cut steel wire armour ins or anything like that with them, all of them will go blunt. There's no difference at all there. For the speed of the job, when you're actually working, I do find them a little bit harder to use, so they're a little bit slower. They don't quite cut as cleanly and as quickly, I think is the best way to describe it. And as an electrician, if you've used croppers, you'll know exactly what I mean. So I'd say these are a little bit like just when your set of croppers are just starting to dull a little bit, but they don't seem to have got any worse. They've stayed perfectly fine, and if you're on a budget, yeah, absolutely nothing wrong with them. Let's jump on to the next set. So these are the 220s from Yato, however you want to say it. And again, absolutely nothing at all wrong with these. I think these were around £10 for them as they are. The handles are a little bit more comfortable than the Katsu ones, so they feel a bit nicer in your hand. They seem a little bit sharper as well. I don't know if that's just the way the tools work in itself, but there's not quite as much effort needed to strip your cable, and that's one of the things I've found swapping between all of these croppers. You get used to a set. So I've been having to adjust the pressure on all of them. So there's some where I've gone to strip the cable and I'm not applying enough pressure and it hasn't stripped nice. And there's others where I've cut right through and started to score the inner conductors. So it's finding that balance with a tool to get into a habit of how you use it. And again, with croppers, they're not really a stripping tool as such anyway. But as we've said before in other videos, if you get into a knack of it, they are an exceptional tool for just that purpose. But you have to be careful. And yeah, nothing wrong with these. About 10 quid or so, I think, from Amazon. They'll strip inner cores and your outer sheaths just fine. Feel a little bit sharper than the Katsu ones, and as a result, a little bit faster to work with. I found they haven't dulled. I've read some of the reviews from other people saying how these kind of dull off quite quickly and become a little bit blunt. I've not found that as yet, and I've used them quite a lot. Again, I'm going to keep going with this, and we'll see what happens. Perfectly acceptable set of croppers for a tenner to me. Nothing wrong with them. Not my favourite set, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with those. So the latest addition to this little test is the CK ones, and these seem to be among the most popular with electricians I've spoken to. Everyone seems to have a set of these. My lads use them. They swear by the CK croppers, and I found them to be exceptional as well. They're a great set. I think they're about 15 quid. I need to check exactly on the price, and again, I'll pop it up and where I got it from in a little bubble on this section of the video. But yeah, really nice. These are 220s, so they're a bit longer than the short ones I prefer. But yeah, they do a good job of stripping, cutting, cropping, nice and sharp. They're a little bit faster to work with. I have to say that the handles don't feel as good as the cheaper Yato ones. But yeah, they do the job. They're comfortable enough and cut through cables nice and smooth. Good to strip with, and again, it's just finding that pressure between all of the different types of croppers to work with it in the best way. And yeah, nice set from CK. No qualms with them. I would say perfectly decent set of good quality croppers. So these are the Klein ones, and I've got to say these are the ones I tend to pick out of the bag first, which probably says quite a bit for my own personal taste on these. I quite like the Klein. croppers. They're really sharp, nice and smooth to work with. The handles feels like they've got a nice shape to them. The shape of the handle is a little bit different than some of the other ones. And again, nice clean cut. These are the sharpest of the lot, I would have said, in terms of stripping and cutting, in my opinion. So they go through a little bit faster and a little bit easier. I've used these such a lot, and they've not blunted or dulled at all. Yeah, excellent from Klein. I think they're a little bit more expensive than the CK, definitely than the Yato and Katsu. And again, I'll pop a little bubble up of where I got them from and how much they were. I think I got them from CEF in a bit of a deal they were running. And yeah, really nice set of croppers. The Klein Tools 63213, and again I'll run through all the model numbers of the other ones at the end of the video as well, because I've just realised I forgot to do that on the prior little bits I've been recording. So these are the ones I first started out with. If you remember, and you've watched back through some of the other videos, these are the Weir ones. And I like these the most because they have the VDE handles, and it's always that last line of protection. If you can use a VDE tool for something, even if you know you're working dead and you've done all your safe isolation, having that extra layer of protection is always a good thing. And the fact that the VDE, it makes, to me, they feel more comfortable as well. I thought they'd be chunky and less easy to use, but I prefer it. I think it makes a nicer, more ergonomic grip on your hand, but they are a lot more expensive. So these ones I think are around the £40 mark, and obviously you can have 4 sets of most of the others, between 2 and 4 sets of most of the others for the same price. But I think it's worth it, certainly for my own safety. And yeah, these live in my bag. They're always in there. I've got to say, I've been getting the Klein ones out ahead of them, but if I was buying a set just to use all of the time, it would be these ones. I would spend the extra money to get a set of these. I'm just going to see if they've got a model number on while I'm recording. See if you can see there. It's quite a long one. They are the Z50s 109 160s. And yeah, use them quite a lot. Got to say that they're probably my favourites, just because of the VDE more than anything else. But along with that, the cutting face is really sharp. There's that serrated blade on it. These go through anything. I would say they're just as sharp as the Klein ones. And it's a similar sort of pressure needed to strip and cut cables as I would find with them, and they're in the size I prefer, the 160mm. You can get them in the bigger sizes. I'll just quickly run through all the different model numbers of the other tools. In fact, I won't. I'll pop them up in the little descriptions as we run through with where you can buy them from. That makes more sense. So I hope you found that little video useful, and yeah, nice set of croppers all around. See if I line them back up again. Let's just do that. You can see the different shapes on the handles. If I get the smaller ones together, how the Katsu ones are a little bit fatter, if that's coming across on the smaller handles. They don't feel as smooth opening and closing either as the Klein ones. And then with the 220s, if I put them all together, again you can see how these have like an extra couple of layers of foam, so they feel quite nice in your hand. And these CK ones, it's just a little bit thinner. I mean, some people prefer that there's less, whereas these are a little bit fatter. So it's just personal preference, isn't it, at the end of the day? And yeah, can not really knock any of them, to be totally honest with you. You do get a bit more for your money with the more expensive brands. They seem to be a bit sharper and a bit easier to cut with. But yeah, if you're on a budget, absolutely nothing wrong with these cheaper sets, in my opinion. And I hope you found that useful. We will catch you on the next video. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, cheers.